Hi everyone. I'm super excited to be hosting ZettaBlock today for our weekly workshop here at MetricsDAO. I'm Marina, your host and moderator today, and we're really glad to have Chi here, and Scott will be joining as well, the founders of ZettaBlock. So a bit more about ZettaBlock and our speakers. ZettaBlock is a one-stop blockchain data platform to make it easy and flexible to index, query, analyze, and share data. With it, developers can build real-time, reliable, and data-intensive apps, and all of that without worrying about data processing on either front-end or back-end. And this is done through ready-to-use, flexible, and customizable APIs that are fast with less than 10 millisecond latency and reliable. And let me also share a bit more about our speakers to get to know them. Chi Zhang is here, who is the co-founder and CEO of ZettaBlock. Before ZettaBlock, she used to lead product management for data engineering products at Databricks. Databricks, as you may know, is the leading data infrastructure company that created Apache Spark and Delta Lake. She is also a founding member at an AutoML company where she led data science and customer success team. She got her PhD in statistics and MA in economics from UC Berkeley, and she focused on machine learning and causal inference. And besides work, she used to be a professional athlete, amazing, and enjoys all kinds of outdoor activities. And we'll have Scott Shi, who is the co-founder and CTO of ZettaBlock. And before he led the cross-functional initiative at Uber, building the safety report, which was a data as a product that got publicly released in the US. Scott grew the team to over 200 full-time engineers, and Scott has over 12 years of experience in engineering at companies like Uber, Salesforce, and Electronic Arts. So that now that we have introduced our speakers, just a bit about admin before we start. This workshop is being recorded. Replay will be shared on our YouTube channel. The presentation portion is about 20 minutes, and we'll break for questions halfway, and in the end, we'll have a Q&A. Chi will present and answer your questions, and Scott will also be here to address your questions, especially infrastructure, the infrastructure side. So please remember to keep your mics on mute when you're not talking. And if you have questions during the workshop, we have an event text chat. I just dropped a message there a couple of minutes ago. So please type your questions there. And without further delay, I'll turn it over to Chi.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction, Marina. And everyone, this is Chi, and looking forward to the meeting with you guys today. And right now, let me share my screen, and I will start walking you through about what ZettaBlock is, and later on we will do a real demo with some of the very cool questions that we want to solve with you guys together. So let me live. Can you guys see it?
We can see it.
Awesome. So what ZettaBlock is, we are a unified Web3 next generation data platform. And what we allow user to do is to make data indexing, querying, analyzing, and sharing extremely easy and flexible, all via SQL. So no other code or no other technical skills you need here, but as long as you can write SQL, even as an analyst, you can create a real-time data-intensive application on top of a ZettaBlock. And so far, right now, we support over 8 chains with 110 billion transactions, and we have a lot of other data, on-chain data that's already sitting in our data lake that can be used for any type of data analytics or API building process. And what ZettaBlock is providing, as you can see here, is we allow user to do cross-chain or even like bring on-chain, off-chain data together into the platform, and we provide abstraction data infrastructure layer that's include the data ingestion, storage, decoding, indexing, transformation, and query engine layer that allow user to build user-facing data products, analytics dashboards or operational dashboards. And also, if you have any real-time personalization, for example, finding out finding out what is the most profitable wallet and trying to follow them and get real-time alerting or even doing some anonymous detection, it's all supported on top of ZettaBlock via SQL. And without us, so what you might run into probably is to host a very, very comprehensive and flexible data infrastructure underlying from the ETL pipeline, including even like the streaming pipeline if you're looking at the real-time stuff. And then the data have to be served into the data lake, database. And then you have to do all the DevOps and create the data transformation layer and the indexing layer to serve the data via the API, like GraphQL API or REST API out to the applications or any desired locations. So that being said, what ZettaBlock is really trying to help any Web3 technical person, no matter they're a developer or analyst, is abstracting away the complexity when you're trying to just get any type of data insights to serve to your application. And this is the abstraction that you can see here. So what is the key differentiation makes ZettaBlock being very helpful compared to other tools is, first of all, we allow user to build a very, very flexible and customizable API so that you don't need to be limited by any type of, for example, TypeScript transformation, limit. And then you can just rely on SQL. And also we allow you to bring all kinds of data, including your own data from like your CSV or MongoDB, Postgres, and other data sources, including even like from Twitter, to be used and analyzed together with the on-chain data. And we ensure the reliability and stability of the product as an enterprise-grade platform. So any questions here? If not, then I'll just monitor the chat as well. So if you have any questions, just send the question in the chat and I will answer that immediately. So let's do a quick walkthrough about the platform. So how this platform works is, first of all, this is the landing page of your workspace portal. And what you can do first is start with a query builder. And here, what you can see is, for example, there's databases grouped by the chain level and the abstraction level and also the project level. So let's say, for example, in this case, I'm interested in the Polygon data. I can go to Polygon mainland database and take a look at what kind of table it has. So here, as you can see, it has a lot of raw data, like the logs data, receipt, trace, transaction data that has not been decoded, has not been changed by anyhow. But if you are interested in like the decoded so-called silver layer table, if we are using the data lake term, then you can see that this we have the decoder logs, decoder traces, and decoder transactions. And for example, if I'm interested in the decoder transaction, what I can do is click on this pop, and it's already inserts all the basic SQL here. And as you can see now, it's just to return some of the sample data, and you can just we can then start doing some real cool stuff here. So let's say, for example, what I'm really interested in is to find out what is the top ERC 2020 address receiver in the in 3 days. Actually, let me copy and paste the SQL code here. So as you can see, so this SQL code is telling me, is trying to find out between July 11th and July 13th, what is the top receiver? And go ahead, please. Oh, okay. And then we can just click on run. And as you can see here, it will return the result very soon. And what we can do is, if you're interested in just if you think the data looks good, you can download the data or just create some visualization. And you can even take a look at the query history. So for example, if I just change the limit from 300 to 30, and it will run and also show the query history here. And if you want to use the old previous history to execute the SQL, then you can click on that open in a new tab button. And as you can see, the previous history has been opened. You can also do visualization, which I'm going to show to you later on. But what I first want to walk you through is how easy it is to create a real-time and scalable API. That's normally you have to write a TypeScript or code on the graph, let's say, to create. But here, with only the SQL, like normally how you just build charts or analytics dashboard, you can now create an API. So how it's going to work is click on that create API button. And as you can see here, it's bringing you to the second step. So what does this step show here is, first of all, you can, of course, say what is the description of the API. So let's say this is just my first API, and I'll change the name to my first API as well. And the very cool stuff here is, remember, right now, all the data indexing tool only allow you to query, only do the indexing on ID. So that means the query speed of that API will only be speed up on that ID column. However, right now, what we allow user to do is to index any field before you create this API. So that means you can even index all of the field. That's also makes the API query when you trying to query by the receiver or date creation date or transfer much faster than before. And also you can select what is the field type of each of the column. So let's say, for example, here a varchar makes sense, and transfer, I probably want to change it to small int instead of big int. And then if everything is set, I will click on create API. And as you can see here, now it's showing the indexing progress when it's going to be ready. So now you can see it's actually a very small query. So that's why it's indexed extremely fast. And you can see the log here. It's actually, okay. So if this shows an arrow, then that's great, because then now you can see what's going on and say this says cannot get column value to insert table, and the small int doesn't make sense. So I have to go back to probably change the transfer to big int or so. And let's fix this. Let's go back and try to fix this, and it should work. Let's take a look at the create API and do that one more time. Hopefully it should work this time. Okay, now it says it works. Then what you can do is go to the playground. And in this case, because I create that the API include the 3 columns, like the date creation date or the receiver. So right now I want to just find out on July 11th, what is the date point look like for these 3 columns. And as you can see, now it's returned all those values in that day. So this is a very simple API creation. And if you have any questions, please just let me know. Otherwise, I will go to a more real world, more interesting API creation process with you guys together, right? Later on. Okay, cool. Then I will continue. So another API, another query that I really want to work through with you guys together is finding out what is the top wallet on Compound that has the activities on other platforms in the last 90 days. So what do I mean here is, for example, first of all, we have to identify who are the top wallet on the on Compound project. And once we find them out, then we want to track in other platforms, on other platforms, how do those top wallet behave? What kind of activities they would do? Then this will really help us to get a lot of insights and help us to make a better investment decision. So, like, for example. And in that case, what we can do, first of all, is I want to find, I have some label about the wallet on Compound. I want to upload from my CSV file. Then the first thing I will do is go to the CSV file upload and open the CSV file that I collect together called the Compound Active User Label, and I can submit. And once it's been submitted, so as you can see, it's been uploading. But once it's uploaded, you will see that in this in the default database. So as you can see here, it's called the Compound Active User Label. So for our community version, we will just allow you to upload the table to the default database. But for a lot of our enterprise customers who are using ZettaBlock right now, we will help them to maintain a private data lake where they can upload their information, or even like dump some of their data from MongoDB, PostgreSDB, or Snowflake BigQuery to ZettaBlock, so that the internal data can be quickly analyzed together with the on-chain data. So, for example, here, if we look at this uploaded CSV file, you can see this says for each of the address what kind of labels it has, and you can just make this a little bit bigger. And then once it's been uploaded, what we want to do this time is to first write the SQL that will help me to find out what is the top wallet on Compound. Then this should be the SQL code. So as you can see, what I have done is first we've trying to find the information on the decoded transaction and decoded logs from the Ethereum database. And we also join that with a Compound Active User Label so that we can attach some of the labels to each of the wallets. And also because I'm only interested in the last 3 months of the history, so I will just limit that to the last 3 months. Of course, if you want to change that to other dates, what you can do is use our parameter function. Then what you can do is to just replace this date by a parameter, and in the future you can easily configure that on the query or even on your dashboard if you add charts to that dashboard. And once we find out this top wallet, what you can do is then find beyond Compound. So right now, this contract address is a Compound smart contract. But beyond the Compound, what is the activities those top wallet addresses will behave? And as you can see right now, if I remove this limit, let's just run this across the entire table to decoded transactions and decoded logs. It's gonna actually scan through over 1 billion records, and in the end, the return result should be around like 1 million. But as you can see here, it's gonna return within 13 seconds, which is extremely fast. And as you see here, now we can see for these are the top address and what are the total trade volume and what is their behavior on the other platform. And also because it's come from the decoded tables, so you will see all the decoded meaningful value, like the function signature, function name, and so on and so forth. So here, any questions? Cool. Yeah, I can see the questions. Awesome. And then what we can do is to create the API here. So if I click on the create API, and as you can see, again, this time I probably want to label API, index the API by label, because I imagine that I want to search by label. I want to make the API return the result really fast. And also, what else I want to, I want to index by function name, because this is a very useful field for me as well. And I want to make the description more meaningful this time. I want to say, find out the most active wallet from Compound contract for the last 3 months, and monitor their on-chain activities on other platforms, and click on create API. So because this is a very large query, it's probably going to take some time to run it. But once it's being executed, so I have executed this in advance. I want to show that to you. So let's go to Compound top wallet. As you can see, it's actually will show for each of the day what is the number of events for this API. So you will have a better understanding, like even just by looking at this chart, what is the volume change over day. And if you go to logs, as you can see here, so yesterday I created this in advance, but just walk you through, as you can see, it will actually finish all the API generation, indexing, materializing the table in the transactional DB within 4 minutes, and the outcome is around 1 minute, 1 million record. So that's actually a very, very fast process, because we went through over 1 billion records here. So in that sense, because this API has other field, what I can do is this time what I want to find out is for the redeem function, what is the address, hash, and function name, and so forth that I can get. So this return around 10K records within a second. As you can see, it's also very fast. And you can just take a look at that. And if you want to use the GraphQL API right away in your backend, you can just copy this URL, and you can embed that to your backend already. Of course, we can also change this record search by label, and this time I even want to search by Japanese name. So what I can do is copy and paste the Japanese name here, and click on return. And as you can see here, it's also return you the value very fast. So that's how a lot of our current customers are already start using this API function to generate the real-time API that they can use for their website, the decentralized app, to show, for example, the portfolio and their wallet, like their wallet change and everything. So this, this is the second API that I want to show to you guys. And another thing that's related to the part people would use ZettaBlock to build is the visualization and dashboards. So how that's gonna work? For example, let me just open some random one, maybe here. So as you can see here, once this has been executed, we can start creating new visualization on it, or just take a look at what the visualization has been created on top of ZettaBlock. So for example, as you can see, it's the bar chart. Of course, we can create line charts, say, and as you can see, what you can even do is just embed that right away. So you can embed to your website as iframe from this part already. And another thing that's what you can do is, for example, if you want to add this chart to the dashboard, and you want to ensure that some of the result is going to be cached for a while. For example, like the longer the result being cached, the less overload is going to bring to the front end. So you can even change the cache time from here, from 1 minute to 24 hours. So for example, if you just cache the result for the last 24 hours, that means people goes to this dashboards will always see the result from the past 24 hours, but it can be loaded immediately. So let's say if I wanna take a look at the Polygon transaction data, and give me a second. So here. The Solana. So if we look at the Solana DeFi and NFT marketplace, so you can see we can just, because I'm the creator of this dashboards, I can easily add new visualization. So for example, if let's just randomly add some Ethereum transfer per day here, and it should be added here. And also I can choose whether to auto save this or not. If I auto save this, I don't need to do anything, and every configuration will be saved. But let me delete this here. And also you can add the text if you want. And as you can see, the parameter that has been applied to each of the charts will be shown on the top of the dashboard, so that you can configure that easily here as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much covers the main part of ZettaBlock. Another thing that I also want to say that is going to be coming up very soon is our automated data decoding pipeline. So as you can see here, right now we allow user to create new query, new API, new dashboards, and new data source. But very soon we will allow user to submit their own smart contracts, and depending on whether the API is existing in our data lake. So we right now have over, in total, we have around like 18 million API in our data lake. So especially if it's from Ethereum, Polygon, or some EVM chain, a lot of times we already have the API of a smart contract address. However, if not, then what you can do is provide your API, especially sometimes if the smart contract is private and it's not verified, you have to provide your own API here. And then what we will do is help you to automatically decode it, and even list down like the individual events within this smart contract, and what is the transactions for each of the events, and you can select which event you wanna materialize into tables that's being stored into the database. Again, depending on whether you are a community user or an enterprise user. If you're an enterprise user, you can choose even to just store all those smart contract tables into your own data lake, so that if there's any, like for example, private smart contract that you don't want to share with a community, you can do that as well. And once you submit that, you will also see, because everything is automated, you will see the status of the decoding, and also find out where is the table being set, where the location is. So this is the part that we will release to the community the next, and yeah, that's pretty much cover all the presentation today.
You forgot to demo the text to SQL part.
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, guys, that's a very cool feature that a lot of our customers found very handy. So what Scott mentioned is because given our background, especially for example myself, I used to be a machine learning researcher, and I have done a lot of natural language processing projects before. So what we have provided to the community is for people, for example, who are not that familiar with SQL. What they can do is even write down the English text. Right now, we only support English, but you can write down an English text, and it will be automatically translated to the SQL. So, for example, in this case, let's say, let me see if there's any interesting things I'm looking at. So maybe let's take a look at the decoded log. This has the argument type. What I want to say is how many unique argument type are there? Translate. And as you can see here now, it can be inserted, and you can execute this. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, Scott. This is a very, I think this is a very cool feature that a lot of our customers love. And as you can see now, it says in the decoder logs from the Arbitrum database, it has 887 unique argument types that you will see. So that's the text to SQL part, and behind that, it's empowered by our AI algorithm. And we will constantly improving the algorithm as more people start using this feature. It's also give us a lot of good feedback, the data points to improve the algorithm accuracy further. So that's yeah, that's pretty much cover the demo today.
Thank you so much, Chi, for the demo. And thank you, Scott. I think now we can move into the question period. So if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can type in the event chat. I think we have some people typing in chat. Let's give them a second. And also share in chat our 2 links for the dashboards built with ZettaBlock. If you'd like to check them out, you'll need to sign in with Google single sign-on to view them. Shreya asked, when the question disappeared.
Yeah, I saw the questions. But yeah, that's a very good question. So about any educational pricing. So right now, what we are doing is we are collaborating with some of the universities, for example, like a New York University or UC Berkeley, and we are putting together some educational program for our university partners. But definitely very open to chat with people who are interested in putting together the educational program and how we will put together and what the pricing looks like for that type of program. Definitely open to that, and and we're also expanding our partnership in the university side.
Awesome. Does anyone else have questions?
Yeah, I actually have a question. Just coming from the perspective of someone who's not that familiar with building actual real-time apps in blockchain, one of the kind of theoretical apps I've always wanted to build is essentially a tracking dashboard that can view trades that are occurring on AVAX or on basically on the Avalanche network that are happening on GMX. So I could kind of be able to track the profitable traders of Avalanche. And it seems like that this would be a good solution to build something like that. Or am I misinterpreting the possibilities here?
Your understanding is totally correct. So let me also share this one thing to you. So initially, while we were building ZettaBlock, we put together some reference use cases and reference architecture people can build on top of ZettaBlock. ZettaTrade is one of the example. So that's pretty much is exactly the use case you described, like a trading. It's even more automated. It's like a automated trading bot for user. So what they will do, what we allow them to do is, because we can cover both the scalability and the real-time part. So what they can first is to find out the most profitable accounts, no matter how you define the account, because we have all the historical data. So as long as for the chain that we support we have all the data from day one, from Genesis block. So that's why we have over 110 billion transactions on the platform. So once they find out the account, what they can do is listen to that account. And if the account has have done anything, then you can get a real-time alerting, or even if this part has not been done by us yet, but if people build, for example, like a wallet authorization app here and allow you to just you will give the permission to do the trading on behalf of you. Then if say the well account or the top perform account have done something, sell some of their Solana or sell some of their Ethereum or purchase something, you will follow them immediately and do very similar trading algorithm as them. So so this is one of the reference use cases we show user what kind of things people can build on top of ZettaBlock as a trading bot.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you for that insight.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to just use the mic. What we are really trying to provide to the community is so-called, we call it infra of the infra. So what does that mean is we right now don't have put a lot of like a very analytics level insights that people can just see the metrics right away. However, what people can do is you can have all the tools to build for example, another Nansen, a more professional Nansen, another like a CRM for Web3, another Bloomberg for Web3, on top of things. So we allow user to easily build all those very applications with a lot of data insights or with a data stream inside
Does anyone have more questions? Please feel free to unmute or type in chat. Okay, it seems last call. Are there any more questions? Otherwise, it seems there are no more questions. And I'd just like to ask to wrap up. If anybody has kind of more questions or wants to get something else answered or learn about ZettaBlock in particular, what is the best way to reach you and Scott and ZettaBlock for more questions?
Awesome. Yeah, feel free to reach out us on Discord, and you can join our Discord group. We will answer the question there, or just DM me or Scott directly. And also on the website, so we will soon onboard you, give a link to the Ask Early Access, and you can just fill the form. And once we receive the request, we will contact you and give you the early access as soon as we can. Yeah.
Awesome. And we'll share the link to ZettaBlock's Discord in the workshops channel in MetricsDAO Discord after the workshop. That's where you can go to find this recording, some links, the link to Discord, and you can tag us, or you can tag Chi or Scott. I think if there are no more questions, we'll wrap up here. Thank you so much again, Chi and Scott of ZettaBlock, for your great comprehensive presentation. And yeah, thank you. Join our next workshops.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.